Hello everyone. In this video we're going to go over Chapter 7, Test Your Understanding Part 2. This is on page 400 in your book. So each paragraph they've given us the topic. We have to figure out what the main idea is, the writing pattern, and what clues we use to figure it out. Number 1 is an example of something that would come from a business or career exploration textbook. This has a title to it. It's called the resume. In any resume you submit should look polished and professional. Even if you create it yourself, it should meet these criteria. A professional-looking resume is accurate and error-free, easy to be read because the information is organized and uncrowded, printed on heavy white paper that is white or a light neutral color, printed on a high-quality printer or copier so that the print is sharp and clear. So here the topic is the resume. It's the title, and so that's what we talk about throughout. The main idea is that any resume you submit should look polished and professional. Okay. Now, what kind of writing pattern do we have here? Are we defining it? Are we listing things? Is it a sequence of events? Is it a comparison, contrast, or cause and effect? So here, we're not really defining it. We're not comparing or contrasting, and we're not doing a cause and effect. So here we have a list. But here's our thing. We have to look at the relationship of this list. We can't just say it's a list pattern. It could be sequence too. All right? So if we look at this, it's not saying that one really has to come before another. It just says that there are these criteria that it has to meet. Okay? So for this one, it would be a list pattern that we're using here. And we look at the relationship here between each of our bulleted points. All right, number 2, it comes from a health textbook. What's the difference between acquisitions and mergers? A merger is the result of two firms joining to form one company. It is similar to a marriage joining two individuals as one family. On the other hand, an acquisition is one company's purchase of the property and obligations of another company. It is more like buying a house than entering a marriage. So here our topic is mergers and acquisitions. Those are terms that are in bold in this paragraph. What is our main idea? So the main idea essentially is defining what the merger is, as well as defining what the acquisition is. Okay, so here we have two sentences, and we would put them together to create the implied main idea. And so what kind of writing pattern do we have here? Okay, if we look in this first sentence, it's a question. It's asking what is the difference between these two things. And here we have the term similar to, and we have on the other hand, so it's showing a difference. Okay, so here this tells us we're comparing and contrasting two things. But remember, you can do other patterns as well. So you are defining what a merger and acquisition are, but here we're overall showing the difference and similarity. So for this one, it would be a comparison contrast pattern. Number 3, this comes from an advertising textbook. Motivation refers to the underlying forces or motives that contribute to our purchasing actions. These motives stem from the conscious and unconscious goal of satisfying our needs and wants. Motivation can not be directly observed. When we see people eat, we assume they are hungry, but we may be wrong. People eat for a variety of reasons besides hunger. They want to be sociable, it's time to eat, or maybe they're nervous or bored. So here our topic is motivation. Remember, our main idea has to have motivation in the sentence. And so for this one, this first sentence is a good main idea sentence. So motivation refers to the underlying forces. And so what kind of writing pattern do we hear? We have a term, we're defining it and explaining it. So guess what? That would be our definition pattern. And we know that because here's our term, we're defining it, and the rest of this is examples, additional information. Number 4, this comes from a human development textbook, and we have a title, A Person's 20s, the Defining Decade. According to University of Virginia clinic psychologist Meg Jay, the 20s are the defining decade, the most important time in a young person's life. She says this is true for college grads and non-college grads. Why does she think this? For one reason, our personalities change more during this time period than at any other time in life. Our brains complete their last growth spurt. Another reason is that by age 30, the majority of Americans are married, living, or dating their future partner. Also, during his or her 20s, a person's fertility peaks. Yet another reason the 20s are such a crucial decade is because 70% of lifetime wage growth occurs during the first decade of a career. Poor decisions during the 20s can cause people to pay a high price later in life, romantically, reproductively, professionally, and economically. In short, our 20s matter. To a large extent, the decisions we make then set the course for the rest of our lives. And so for this paragraph, our topic is a person's 20s, the defining decade. Okay? And so in this paragraph, our main idea is that first sentence, that it's the most important time in a person's life. All right, and so what is our writing pattern here? Are we defining a term? Are we listing? Is it a sequence of things? Is it a comparison contrast? Or are we doing a cause and effect? So here we have the word why. Okay, so they've stated something here. This is the most important time. Why is that? Okay, and so here we have reasons. Here's another reason for that. And so for this paragraph then, remember, cause, effect, we have reasons for why something is happening. So remember, our causes are reasons, and then we have our effect. Okay? So that is number 4. And then finally, number 5 comes from a human development textbook. In 1969, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross brought the subject of death into the open with her observation that those facing impending death tend to move through 5 broad stages. These stages are denial. In this stage, people resist the idea that they are dying. Even if they are told that their chances for survival are small, they refuse to admit they are facing death. 2, anger. After moving beyond the denial stage, dying people become angry at people around them who are in good health, at medical professionals for being ineffective, at God. 3, bargaining. Anger leads to bargaining, in which the dying try to think of ways to postpone death. They may dedicate their lives to religion if God saves them. They may say, if only I can live to see my son married, I will accept death. 4, depression. When dying people come to feel that bargaining is of no use, they move to the next stage, depression. They realize that their lives really are coming to an end, leading up to what Kubler-Ross calls preparatory grief for their own impending deaths. 5, acceptance. In this stage, people accept impending death. Usually they are unemotional and uncommunicative. It is as if they have made peace with themselves and are accepting death with no bitterness. So here, the topic of the paragraph is stages of those facing impending deaths. Our main idea for this paragraph, let's see, it's right back here. It would be that first sentence. Okay, and so here in this paragraph, we're listing with bulleted points. Okay, so here's the question: does the order matter? As we can see, it does. So if it does, then this is going to be a sequence pattern, and we know it does because you can't get to some of these until you've kind of done the first couple on your own. Okay. Alright, so that is Test Your Understanding Part 2 for Chapter 7. If you have any questions about anything that we've gone over in Chapter 7, please let me know. Remember, all of Chapter 7 material is due December 16th, and that is during Finals Week. Let me get it up here. Yeah, it's during Finals Week, okay? Remember, the final exam is available for you to take between December 14th and 18th. Alright, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you later.